Hello and welcome to episode 10, we think, of the Subs Bench. We're actually a little bit depleted today. Dusty's dropped us in it. We think he's hungover.
He's called in sick.
He's called in sick today, so we've lost Nabby, we've lost Dusty today.
Yeah.
As long as you're going to stick by us,
around,
we'll be alright. We'll get over our injuries and be fine. Today's guest is the Olympic FC captain, Steve Whyte.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah, finally get him on after in the fourth or fifth episode we had a coronavirus dropout.
Yeah, we did.
And it was him. He was shit scared of a common cold.
He had a scratchy throat or something.
Yeah, scratchy throat, so he couldn't come in, but we finally got him.
Or a big night.
Yeah, a big night. It was a bit early. I think he just got it.
Yeah.
And we're holding this one at the Vito Sport studio.
Yeah.
Down here. So thanks to Vito for allowing us to come in and record.
On Sunday.
Always Vito.
Sunday.
Always Vito. That's
Always
it.
Vito.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Just whilst you're wearing that piece of shit.
Did you know? Did you realise?
I feel we should touch upon Leeds United back in the Premier League after 17 years. 16. 16.
Yeah,
right.
we're back. League champions.
Yeah.
Line-up champions. So, pretty happy.
Yeah, it would be after that amount of time. I think it's going to take Sunderland about 16 years to get back, to be fair.
Mate, I tell you, it's well, you're League One now too, eh?
Third season coming up, yeah. Dog shit.
It's tough.
It's not even a good standard, is it? Like,
no, but Bielsa, he's the real deal. He's the real deal.
If you get a world class coach, you've got to have a chance of getting out of that league. So
that's it.
Yeah, fair play. From what I've seen, they're a good side.
They play some decent stuff, so
they might surprise a few in the Premier League.
Hope so.
But we're not about the Premier League
on
this podcast. We're about grassroots.
We are.
Somewhere in between grassroots and Premier League, I think.
Yeah.
NPL. Steve, as we've already welcomed you, where did it all begin? You're a Central Coast boy?
Yeah. I was actually born in Townsville.
Queenslander.
Yeah, Mum was Mount Isa.
Mount Isa, well.
Yeah, and she met Dad, and then back down to the Central Coast, and all started when I was 5 at the local Entrance Eagles back on the Central Coast, and then I think when I was 15 just got signed up for the under 10. You make that rep team because it's a bit different to like Sydney and all that sort of thing, and you're playing the Sydney comp there, and then at 15 I got picked up by the Mariners NYL, and it all started from there really. But bit of a journey, I would say, but it's been a good one so far.
So how old are you now? Mid-20s?
23.
Oh,
early 20s.
Bit younger than he looks.
Yeah.
I look like 26 or something.
Yeah, well, I get that a bit actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
Older. But
yeah. It's alright, distinguished.
It's a young captain, isn't it? 23. Big club.
Yeah.
I think it's more people don't want it there.
So at the Mariners, going back all that time, was there involvement with, I suppose, the first team? Because they were decent back then.
Yeah, they were decent.
Yeah.
Is that when they won it? Like around that time or just after?
I think it started to develop from there. When I first made it, because our youth team was based in Sydney.
Yeah.
So we had to travel down there 3-4 nights a week, but then play at Central Coast. So it was a bit different. But then I think the year after that, that's when like the boys like Matty Ryan and all those sort of boys sort of stepped through the youth team into the first team.
So how old is he? He'd be a couple of years older than you, though.
Yeah, they were. There's another mate of mine, but we were 15 at the time, so they were about 21, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
So we were really young for the squad.
Was he good even back then, Matty Ryan?
Yeah, they were all unbelievable players like Musfamini and all that sort of Shaz and.
Didn't he end up in Germany?
Yeah, he was in Germany.
He went from the Mariners to Borussia Dortmund, I think.
Yeah, that's right. He's at Dortmund.
And then, he's sort of making a career in Denmark at the moment, I think.
All you need, isn't it? You know, like
one opportunity,
one season where you kind of stand out a bit as a young lad.
Yeah.
And some of these European clubs would take a punt on him.
It's like Bernie Beanie Club Bruges, all that sort of stuff.
Then Matty Ryan was at Club Bruges too.
Yeah, he went there, and then I think he went to Valencia. And
that's right.
They've all had pretty stellar careers if you think about it.
Yeah.
Now he's on about 50 grand a week.
Yeah.
Loving life.
No, he's doing well.
See his save the other night?
Yeah, top quality,
Talk about save of the season.
Were they talking about that was a...
Yeah, well, they're talking about him. There's obviously been a few good ones, but...
Yeah, no, he's... No, he performs well pretty much week in, week out for a team that's down round the bottom, so...
He's been pretty solid.
Yeah, he's been solid.
There's something about Australian goalkeepers, isn't it?
They all, when they go over there, they all quite do well, don't they?
Yeah.
What do you reckon it is like? I know we're jumping off topic here, but do you reckon it's because I've always had this theory, and you can shoot us down in flames if you just want, but because Australia predominantly a lot of their sports are hand-eye coordinations, like from a young age, they're probably having to catch and whatnot, especially like cricket and
league and
passing in league and
possibly.
AFL.
Maybe it's
like
just
that,
don't know. I mean,
maybe
it might not be.
That's a good one there.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Schools was always catching and not really kicking so much. It was more catching.
You're probably right, because like the European countries are all football countries, so they're all wanting to be like the outfield players.
Yeah.
Like, so you're probably right, and they just transition better.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Good theory.
I'll back that.
I'll back that theory.
I'll back it big time.
Yeah.
Should ask Matty Ryan. Send him a text.
We'll get him on.
Yeah, get him on.
Get him on Zoom.
Yep.
So who else was there? Any involvement with the first team in terms of training and things like that?
There was like a few of the older boys were,
Yeah.
But when I started to go through the ranks and get a bit older, I think I got a bit more of an opportunity at the first team.
Yeah.
But there's a few good players. Well, not a few, a lot of good players that have been there and gone through that Mariners system, and it shows when they had that few couple seasons where
they're dominant.
Orange Sunday, was that them? When the Raw won in what, like 120th minute?
I was at that game. I was at that game sitting in the Mariners section actually. It was the only place I could get tickets. I was sitting behind Josh Rose's family because he's a Rocky boy. So it was kind of
what a game that was.
I reckon that's honestly one of the only 10 games of A League I've ever watched like all the way through.
It was I mean, like so many people left the stadium too.
Yeah.
Because the Raw were down 2-0. It was just like. Yeah, that was a ridiculous.
And that was
game
the first of the Raw's grand final wins, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't they win another one?
They won another.
No, they won another two, but one was the year after, I think.
They won. I think. Did they win 3 in a row? I think they.
No, I think there was a year in between.
Alright, so I think they won. They beat Perth the following year, I think.
Yeah.
And then they beat with Mulvey. Beat Western Sydney, whatever. A couple years later.
Knowledge.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
he's a Raw fan.
I am a Raw fan.
Speaking of the Raw, we should probably touch upon it.
Oh yeah.
Warren Moon, your friend of the show.
Yeah, he is a friend of the show. Yeah, you're right.
Just a friend of mine, friend of the show.
He's a friend of mine too. Yeah. I consider him a friend.
Yeah, congratulations to Mooney.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
great for Queensland, I reckon.
Yeah,
very good. One thing with he's signed Danny Kim already, so he's obviously looking in the NPL, which is.
I think it's great for young lads in not just our NPL, but in any NPL. I think Mooney's always said that there's potential out there, and full-time training, as you'll know, it makes a massive difference.
It does,
100%.
And it's a risk too. I think most clubs don't want to take a risk on those NPL players, because it will cost them money. But if if they do take a risk and it doesn't work out, it's sort of a waste of money for us.
Yeah.
But full time, when you're training full time, you just hit a different level in in everything. Well,
your touch improves within 2 or 3 days. Like I know when I was younger. If you went into a full-time environment on the 3rd day, you couldn't have a bad touch. You were just that used to getting the ball like every 5-10 seconds.
You can only improve, can't you? Because you're in that, doing it day in, day out. The speed of the sessions are better.
And if you've got the right attitude, and you want to learn.
Well, we played the Raw NPL side last week, and it was funny because my wife, last time she saw us play like that team was when I was back at Olympic, but 4 years ago. She's like, the quality of like the Raw players now to then 4 years ago. Like you'd see Raw youth come up and you're like, there's 3 points. Like you spank them. But now you're like, these guys can play. Like they're technically getting better. Like so, I was quite impressed with the standard.
The difference of the Raw this year that I've noticed, they're more physical.
They are. They're bigger boys. Like it's just.
As much as they chirp, they can back it up.
Didn't they come back and draw with yous?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They're a good team, to be fair. I don't know what they were like before I come to Olympic, but
weak.
Every Raw team that I've played since being here, they've been pretty strong.
Yeah.
And they're getting stronger.
Yeah. And they don't drop many first team players down either. Well, we haven't played them with a first team player, but which is good though, because I remember when back when I was back at the Mariners, we would get a lot of first team players drop down, and it's just like they're playing against like the Sydney MPL, and you're just like, this is like too easy for them. So it's just no point. And then you miss the players that were in the team are now missing out because the first team players get priority.
And because they drop down and they don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
That's like thinking like, what am I doing here?
That's
the attitude, isn't it?
When you know how they split the conference.
Yeah.
So it was us and Sydney SC. I think it was Ben's last year there too.
Yeah.
Wolver had to play, and whoever won went into the conference grand final.
Yeah.
And we had that Jacques Fatih drop down. Yeah. And like he was an ex-Sydney FC player.
Yeah.
And like there was a cross come and he just like let it go and their striker just taps it in. And there's just all these conspiracy theories that he's just like let Sydney win, but they just don't care. They come down. It's just like a little holiday for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But fair play, Mooney, and good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
You know, tough gig, but you know, he's probably ready for it.
I think I think we may have spoken about this last time, but I think the football community in Queensland will give him a lot more backing and support, and also a bit of time. Like you get someone like Fowler in, just as an example. Like Fowler did he did well.
He did well
in the end, but the club, like fans that are maybe not diehard Raw fans, will get on his back straight away if performances aren't good. Whereas with Mooney, I think the football community will give him a bit of time to try and put his sort of style on the team and bring in some young players and whatnot.
I think any local coach really.
Yeah, because if you bring someone in big and they don't get results, that's when they sort of like rip into you. But if you bring someone that's fresh from the Queensland community, he's allowed to make a mistake. Everyone's allowed to make a mistake. But if you bring someone high profile that comes down, it's like, well, you can't make a mistake because you're a high profile coach. But that's how I look at it.
Yeah,
which will be good.
Well, they're playing tonight, so that's probably the 11th game I'll watch in the A-League all the way through.
There you go.
Unless it's shit, and I'll turn it off.
Hey everyone, here today to give a little plug to one of the Subs Bench loyal sponsors, Mr. Mark Cruz from Bank of Queensland, Windsor. Now, Mark is one of the best in the business, and I know this from personal experience as myself, Dusty and Ryan Stenthouse bank our One Short company with Mark. One Short is one of the best clothing labels in the world, and Mark is a big part of that. Mark has a lot of upside. One, he's incredibly good looking, and yes, ladies, he is single. And two, he is very professional and very, very good at what he does. So if you A, want a hot date with Mark, or B, want some great banking advice, please slide into his DMs and get in contact with one of the best bankers in Brisbane today. Cheers.
So you mentioned before we came on there was an incident in a training session.
Yeah, so my first year at the NY at the Mariners, I called the old Meg on Mitchell Duke and I got thrown. He just let the ball go and threw me, and then ever since then, as a young player, you pick up every cone, don't say a word anymore, and just it was a bit of a wake-up call, if you know what I mean, for a young player.
Being cheeky.
Yeah, just being a little cheeky young player as they are now, but it sort of taught me a lesson, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just respect the older boys and they'll respect you if you respect them.
Yeah.
But I got the Meg anyway, so I was happy.
Fair enough. And then the Jets.
Yeah, so new coach coming to the Mariners and said he didn't want me, so just made the way up the highway to the Newcastle Jets, and Michael Bridges was the assistant coach. And
another friend of the show.
And just had a year there, and then we had a few trial games against the Mariners and I did pretty well, and then the following year they sort of said, can you come back, sort of thing, and I was like, yeah, no worries, because it's close to home, you're not on a great wage there, so it takes a lot of the travel out and all that sort of stuff.
Did you move up to Newcastle?
No, so I was just travelling up most mornings, so I was a Coles night shift person, so went to training and then made it back from training to the night shift till about 3 a.m. And then they did gym in the mornings at the Jets, so it was like 8 a.m. you had to be there, so it was going for like a couple of hours sleep, drive back up there, and then sometimes I'd stay up there during the day to train, and then I'd come home, and then do it all again, train, work.
The glamorous side of professional football.
That's it, eh? It's a grind.
Even the Mariners is probably the pinnacle of it when I was a tradie. Go to work, because so my last 2 years at the Mariners, I did like the first team full time, but on a youth team wage.
Yeah.
So I had to construction from like 6 till 8:30, and then rock up to training with the first team, still with the old pencil in the ear, forgetting about it. And they're like, oh, you got your pencil in the ear. And then train, and then I didn't really stay for lunch because I didn't have time. Then just straight back to work till 6 or something. And then
that's fucking mental.
That is mental.
The assistant coach was an engineer or something, so he sort of like understood, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he's like, wow, like that guy's putting a bit of commitment in.
Yeah, at least they're showing a bit of commitment. Yeah, it's also good that they allow you to have sort of a career outside of footy. Like.
Yeah, of course. They sort of back that. They have like the PFA sort of have a thing where if you want to study, they back you, or if you want to do like construction, like a TAFE course, they sort of back that.
I know Johnny
well.
McCain's he's big into that, like making sure players, look after their future outside of footy because, like, you're a long time retired. One injury, you're not making millions of dollars like the guys overseas. So
exactly.
Fucking hell, I couldn't imagine training.
That's tough, Like.
Oh, it was even worse coming back from America. So, you're full time there and you come back and they were going to put me as an apprentice with Munners at that metal factory. And then I was like, I don't really want to do an apprenticeship sort of thing. So then my brother, who's up here in the army, found me a job like block laying. And I remember like the first 3 weeks I lost like 8 kilos because you're a labourer, so you have to mix, you're looking after like 10 people and you have to mix mud and give everyone blocks and stuff, and these like blocks like 10 kilos each, and they're like no time to muck around. Like if you're 30-minute break, you're 30 minutes. It's not like 31 or 32. So it's just like straight in 10-hour days, then going to training, and then because when I first got here, I was living with Ben, north side, and everything was south side. So it was like getting home at like 10:30, 11 from training.
And what time was starting in the morning?
We had to be there 5:30.
I've done block laying and it sucks.
I'm not a manual worker. Like, it's not my thing. That.
But I'm sort of grateful for it, if that makes sense. Like, it shows what I can sort of put my body through, if that makes sense. Like a lot of people you get these days, like whinge coming to training, and they're just like uni students or something. Uni probably is tough, but like I'm just like come to a 10-hour day rendering. It's like
it's not really.
You know what I mean?
No, you're
come to 10 hours.
You do like 3 hours a day.
But I'm just like pretty grateful for that sort of hard work because I don't know. Parents brought me up on the hard work train. Work for what you want.
And then like Queensland heat as well.
That was a killer when coming from there because I did Seattle winter. So
all right. Well, we'll touch upon that. So you went from your second stint at the Mariners. You went across the states. How did that come about?
Yeah. So I was working at a wrap shop one day during the Mariners, and then this phone call from an American number come through, and I was like, who would be ringing me from America on WhatsApp?
What's a wrap shop?
Like a kebab shop sort of thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've done everything.
A lot of Tolga shops.
Had a few jobs,
mix and match, fill on the spot. So then I was like, I answered it because it was WhatsApp, and I thought, I'll just answer it. And it was John Hutchinson that was at the Mariners when I was there. And he sort of just said, do you want to come over for a trial? There's a spot for you. So I went for a 2-week trial. And then they brought me in and said, look, we don't really have any visa spots available at the moment. I was like, that's all right. It was a good opportunity to train full-time and stuff for 2 weeks. And then come back home, and I was just like driving to training one day. I think it was a Saturday morning because at the Mariners you train day before you play. And then I was driving, I got this like phone call from another American number, but it wasn't Hutchis. So I was like, I'll answer it just in case. And then it was a GM of the club saying that we'll offer you a 1-year contract with the option of an extension. And I was like, beautiful. And he's like, I went to training, told Ben I couldn't train, and off I went to America. Knew nothing about Seattle. Knew nothing about anything.
I think it just rains all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't too bad, the rain. It was more just the snow and the cold there.
It's really green, isn't it? Like, is that
big time?
I don't know too much about it.
I'm going to sound like a complete fucking nerd here, but that's where they filmed Twilight.
Okay.
You know, all the vampires and that.
I do know.
So, you know, like all the big forests and that.
Which team are you? Team Robert or?
I've seen it, but I can't remember. Team Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, his team.
There you go.
But yeah, that's where that was filmed.
Yeah, right. I didn't know.
Well, now you do. You've come here and learned something, both of you.
That's exactly.
But yeah, no, it's supposed to be a real nice spot. I've got a couple of people who've lived there. I think he worked for Nike. Isn't that where Nike is?
Yeah, there's.
And he worked for Nike, and he said it's quality, like, but it does rain.
Yeah, it's cold. But summer gets okay, they say over there, but it's nothing like a Queensland summer.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything like a Queensland summer, or winter.
I love it. Yeah.
So What was the football like?
It was good. Like, it's a bit like the A-League, but it's a bit different. Like, some wingers, everyone's just so athletic over there. They can run for 90 plus minutes.
Yeah.
And I was playing left back at the time there, so everyone knows me. I'm slow as hell. So trying to chase these like athletic wingers down the line and stuff didn't go too well, but that's alright. But they can play inside, outside wingers.
Yeah.
Midfielders can they're so technically good.
Yeah.
They nothing's ever forced or rushed there. It's always just keep the ball, play, and which I learned pretty quick because I think I had 10 days because I think I went over there when it was a break for them.
Yeah.
So I had about 10 to 15 days to sort of prepare myself, and it was a good little stint over there, to be fair. But then, so in America, the GM makes the final call of your contract extension. So he was just like, he's a visa player, he's not really ready for the MLS.
Yeah.
So he just said, we're not going to extend it, but the coaches there like me. So it's a bit of a 50-50 thing over there, I think. But I should have stayed around and tried at a few clubs, but because I've never been in that situation before, I was just like, I'll come home. And then Ben and Hutch were sort of mates from the Mariners days. And then he just said to Ben, can you look after me? And I just flew back into Sydney for 1 week and then made the trip up to Queensland.
All right, we'll touch upon the Olympic stuff in a sec. Did you, when you lived in America, did you get involved in other sports? You go and watch them?
Yeah, I went to the Mariners baseball game. Yeah. That was pretty interesting. A bit long, but it's pretty interesting to go to. And I think I went to one Seahawks game. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Their crowd's good, isn't it?
Even their baseball.
The 12th man. Even got that big point.
Yeah. Even their baseball's just good. Everything is even though I was in the second team there at Seattle, you walk down the street and people know who you are. It's just crazy. Fans love every sport over there.
They do. Yeah. They get right into it.
The whole city shuts down on no matter what game day it is, from baseball to NFL. The city shuts down. Pubs are just filled. There's not riots, but crowds walking through the streets, and it's just nuts. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, even the college sports.
College is massive. Yeah,
college is huge.
And you come to Australia and you get 1,000 to a game.
If that, if you're lucky.
Yeah, I'd have loved to have done that when I was younger, gone to America.
I had a mate who he was ex-soccer player and he went to the States as a kicker, a punter. Yeah. The first game he ever played, he played at LSU. It was 120,000 or something. Never played a game before. Just got signed off a video. Yeah. 120 at a college game. They don't get paid. Yeah. Yeah. It's like $1 billion industry, and the athletes don't get paid. It's crazy.
Yeah. But it's full time there as well. That's the thing. I remember a few of my mates when they did soccer there. They trained twice a day. Yeah. It's just a setup there. I think that's what they go for these days.
The thing was
probably the frat parties too.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wish I'd have gone.
Yeah. It wasn't really a big thing. I know the college, American college, going over there for soccer is probably a little bit bigger now. You see a lot of guys go over there.
There's quite a lot of English lads I'd see it on Facebook. There's a couple of people I knew back home who created their own scholarship agencies. You see them all pop up, and there's some good players going across there and making a good career and probably a life. For themselves across there, but they'll love it.
Yeah, I reckon. I wish it was something I
think that in the college system you get a choice to stay there, because I was speaking to a few of the Seattle their college players there. So when they're off season sort of thing, they get a chance to play in the summer league there. So they can actually go out. And, I think it was $200 a game or something. They can actually play in another league. So it's a full year of football non-stop. So I think that's what most of the American boys do. They just play in that summer league, turn a few $100 a game. But to be fair, American wages aren't great over there. For workers and stuff, they mainly rely on tips and everything, which is pretty cool. I don't mind it because all the waitresses are pretty hot at the pubs.
Wanting to buy business assets or motor vehicles? Do you need experienced business advice in tough times and you're not sure who to trust or talk to? Terry Kirkham, with over 30 years of experience, and his firm Global Business Auctioneers and Valuers with its range of services can help you. Global provides consulting advice on business exit strategies, risk positioning, restructuring and more, business and business asset valuations, and business asset sales through their online auction platform or tender sales. Check Global out at www.globalauctioneers.com and www.globalvaluers.com, or call Terry directly on 1300 557 112 for a chat.
So then Olympic.
Yeah,
So you got the call from Ben?
Yeah, from Ben, back and forward for a bit. Much to people's disgust, they were like, I think it's a step backwards in your career, but I was like, where do you want me to go? I've always been in a set system sort of thing. I've never had an outside team contact me, if that makes sense. I was just like, sort of back where I live, it's sort of a bubble, sort of like for the party life, not really sporty sort of thing. So I was like, I don't want to go back into that, stuck into that bubble again. So I made the decision to come to Queensland, and yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Like a pretty successful 2 years, I think. So looking to build on the third year, and with COVID playing a part in it.
Huge part.
Pre-season.
So we'll talk about the first year. So your first year would have been you were vying for the title with Lions. So I want to say that you got off to a flyer, and Lions kind of pegged it back over time,
so
as they always do.
I think we were 13, 14 games, no losses. But if I can remember right, we had a few games where we just like give away easy points to like your Townsvilles and your Cairns. Like Cairns are pretty strong, but like you just give silly points away where you think you could win it. But that sort of costs you. And then like, your red cards and your yellow cards. Everything. When you look at it, everything over time costs you. If you get a few yellows at the start and then you get a couple at the end, like that's just can cost you 1 or 2 games. And that sort of was us. But it was a pretty successful year, I think. Like that's when we had Shane, and Danny Byrne was like coming towards the end of his career, and we had Kieran Sanders, which he was an unbelievable player when he wanted to be.
Sanders quality. He can just walk through games.
When he wanted to be. I learned a lot off him because we moved in together. So when we first come, and he was like, for a career he could have had, where he would have signed for Fulham but took a different option and come to Australia. So like I just learned a lot off him, to be fair, living with him. And
we tried to sign Sanders the year before, and he ended up in Newcastle. I think he played for Edgeworth. So we actually spoke to him, and it like sort of it's on the cards. And then I can't remember why he didn't, but he ended
probably
up,
asked for too much money.
It might have been money, or it might have been he had a missus or something that needed a job or whatever. So when he came to Olympic, I remember a couple of coaches. I was talking to them, I was like, Olympic have got some player here, and they're like, who? They weren't aware of him. I said, well, you fucking see him play. He's a good player, and he can play anywhere, really.
He can. You put him at like in cage games and stuff, he'd just sit at the back, control everything, he didn't care. But he can play wherever you want him to play. Played out wide for the 21 game, because I think, I don't know, some red card or something.
It's probably suspension,
He played out wing. Just doesn't care, just loves it. But I rang him the other day, he misses it so much, he's like, I wish I could come back.
Where's he now? Was he
Canada?
In Canada?
So he sort of settled down there with a pretty good career, and he said he tried for one team over there, Ottawa Fury or something. He said it was dog shit. He said it's not worth the time. So it's just settled down.
Because that year you ended up finishing second. But you also had a good FFA Cup run. Didn't you beat Brisbane City to get...
so we beat Brisbane City in penalties. And then we thought we drew someone good, and
we did,
drew someone good, but still in our own state, in our own comp. And
probably like a great tie for the neutral in Queensland, because two best teams going head to head, but we've all been in that situation where you think, right, here we go, Melbourne away, another night out here, or an A-League team at home. They're the two things you want. That's a good night out, or a massive game for the fans. Get the team you've already played twice in a year, it's like cheers.
Exactly. Played them a few times.
And were you winning that game?
I think that game we went down 2-0 in like 15 to 20 minutes, and then we sort of made a bit of a comeback, and then the last goal was a bit, how are you going? I think the Fox Sports guy come over at the end of the game and said, how'd the refs not see that offside? But you've got to live with it.
So 3-2.
3-2 loss.
Was it extra time, or was it just before the end of full time?
By end of full time.
Fuck. It was late then, wasn't it?
Yeah, very late. I think it was like the 87th minute. Still dreaming about that that night.
And then you go on to the grand final against Lions again. Fourth time of the season. And get off to a good start. To be fair, we worked out a good press, and it worked for us. We got an early goal, and who scored?
myself. I dreamt about that. I was like, if I score, just jump on the fence.
Yeah.
But then lucky we had a good crowd. So.
I was going to say, that we were talking before about the active support that Olympic have. I mean, at home, they get maybe 30, 40 in that corner.
Yeah.
But that particular day, there was like
everyone.
1,000.
They were pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But then, another loss to Lions that game.
Yeah.
They've beaten us a few times.
Came back. Didn't Marek get the winner?
Yeah, I think it was. Or
in the grand final.
Was it Reardon? I think it was Reardon.
Reardon got the winner, did he? And Marek got the first one.
Yeah.
I think Marek won them the league that year. He
Yeah.
just made a difference because they needed someone to just come in and
score goals.
And to be fair,
Do the
Marek,
dirty work too. He does.
he
he
works
does the
hard.
dirty work.
Yeah.
He's an awkward guy to play against. Like, there's only a few like nines in the league that he's awkward.
He's old fashioned.
Yeah.
Old fashioned 9. Works hard.
You're centre back, like you know you're going to cop a few late shots or something.
Yeah.
All in the spirit of the game, obviously.
Yeah.
Good bloke, but he just puts himself about.
Yeah.
Seen him walking in the park. He lives down the road from me, I think.
He's a good fella.
Yeah.
Like,
He's a great lad.
Yeah.
Great lad, Marek.
It's hard to find good strikers these days.
Yeah.
I reckon. It's not many around these days, I don't think.
Yeah,
and if they do, they want about $2,000 a week.
Yeah.
To play in the NPL Queensland.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. And then last year, another successful year in one regard that I think you started well again.
Yeah.
We probably put a little bit of a dent in that when I think we gave you your first defeat.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think he's responded well enough. You ended up going on quite a long unbeaten run.
Yeah.
Because I remember you came to us and reversed it and beat us 4-3, but that was like 18 games unbeaten. So he's obviously put that to one side and went on a bit of a run.
Yeah.
And made the 32
against Bayside.
Yeah.
The Perth team, they come to Perry Park and then
knocked them off.
Yeah. And then Adelaide United come through
at Perry Park
again, and then they got us 3-2. Matt Mundy giving away a penalty in the 86th minute.
Also, it was that late.
Yeah,
I think we must have had a game that because I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, they scored 2 early goals.
Yeah,
and then we sort of come back with Costa scoring, and then I think
Chris Lucas scored.
Chris Lucas scored a penalty. There was a handball in the box.
Yeah,
and Chris Lucas
ripped a backflip.
Yeah, he didn't start that game. He had a bit of a Bucks party in LA for a good best mate. Bucks party, so he missed the game before that, and I think he got back the night before.
Yeah,
but as coaches do, they don't train, they don't play.
Yeah,
but he come on and made a bit of a difference. So.
Yeah, good player. We talk about centre forwards are difficult to find.
Yeah.
He was a good one.
Yeah,
it was good.
Missed a lot, but if he scored them, he would have scored over 50 goals, I reckon, easy.
Yeah.
But he was a good striker. He was a great striker, to be fair.
Yeah. It helped when he had Smith.
Yeah,
just off.
that was
true.
Yeah, Alex Smith probably one of the best signings the team could make. I think.
Yeah.
He's a player.
Yeah.
As much as he talks and annoys you, but he's always right. To be fair.
Yeah. Good experience as well. Yeah. He's kind of been around.
Yeah.
Been everywhere.
Always
really.
pops up in every good position.
Yeah. He's just smart. You're trying to plan to play against them. He just, when you're watching the videos, you think, how the fuck has he got in that position? It's just smart. It's a bit like Mitch Nichols now.
Yeah.
They just watch until as soon as you switch off, that's when they'll go, and they just get into an area where, if they get on the ball, they're going to hurt you because the centre half's got to go and try and engage.
That was good playing right wing because every time I come in, I know Alex is going to be there, so it's good to work with him, and then would work with Chris, and then it's a good little combo up top.
It was a strong front 4 you had last year. So, and then another grand final. Let's talk about the semi-final because I know that it was
semi-final
probably unexpected at the time, really, given the finish to the season you'd had and just kind of petered out.
I played a few young boys towards the end of the season because I think the top 4 was already set.
Top four was set 6 weeks into the season.
I think we were carrying a bit of a few injuries, not injuries but niggles.
Yeah.
So Ben sort of rested a few players, and then we played Lions at Penn Power in the semi-final, and that was a pretty good game. We come away for 2-1 win. Warren Moon said a few words, and then he's like, have you done anything this game? Like, you going to do anything? And I was like, I think I saved the best till last. And then, sort of worked 1-2 with Jez and just knew that Chris was always going to be in the middle, so just put a little loft pass in and he got his head on it.
So he said that during the game?
Yeah, as I was taking the throw in.
Kiss it down.
I think it was a free kick, actually,
Yeah.
He's like, are you going to do anything in this game? And I was like, I'll save the best till last, mate. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Coach is always a bit of banter.
I try not to have banter with people, I think.
It always comes back to the
Tim Lawson had something. He's like, one tumble versus Power, he's like, damn, you're a good looking bloke. And I was like, don't even know him till now, but I was like, oh yeah, thanks, mate.
He can appreciate it.
He can appreciate a good looking bloke, Timmy, can't
he is a good looking bloke.
He's a great looking bloke.
He's a rooster, and then on to the final.
Yeah, so that was pretty disappointing, to be fair, for the performance we put in against Lions. But I think, we're missing Alex Smith in the grand final, which is a big loss. You can't really replace him. Like, even now, like when we don't have him this year, you can't really replace a player like him.
Nah.
So that performance was pretty. They went down to 10 men somewhat early.
Just before half time.
Yeah. So
loves getting red cards, eh? Was it
Kyle?
Yeah, loves it.
He's big and physical, isn't he? Like,
he
leaves his foot in.
He's another 9 that throws himself about.
Yeah, that's it. That's the Gold Coast Premier League, though. They're in that league, just strap your ACL up. They're coming in.
Yeah, coming in hot.
Yeah. But that was a pretty disappointing performance.
So at half time, so take us back half time. You 1-0 down.
Yeah.
Pretty fresh, I'm thinking, because of the month years of that. Like compared to night 2. Kept going because they were going for a title almost, chasing. So they'd had to play a lot of midweek games. At half time, does Ben say to you, look, this is on. Like, we get the first goal where
our first half was pretty disappointing. They just broke us down so well.
Yeah.
And then Ben said, like, look, this is the last game. Like, you can't leave anything on the field. Like, they're down to 10 men now, and if we just set up our formation, set up the way we wanted to play, and if we executed it, we could come away with a win, but they sat pretty deep. And, when you're trying to play against a team that's sitting on the edge of their box, like, credit to them.
They're pretty good at doing it.
They're such a good team, like, so defensively organised with, like, Oscar Dillon, they had Matt Smith.
He's so good, still.
Yeah, he is. He's just an organiser.
Yeah.
And that's someone you need in your team these days.
Yeah.
And then, we just couldn't break them down, so we just resorted to the odd long ball into the box and got one back, but... it never works, those long balls into the box.
And good atmosphere again.
Yeah,
the Greeks and the Croats. Yeah, Croatian team. So one at one side and one at the other in the Perry Park.
Yeah, I think the police
kicked off a little bit.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I think
didn't know
there was rumours that another team, someone that hates Gold Coast Knights, rocked up and sort of mixed in with our thing, and then they threw the flare because we knew we were on a bit not a ban, but we knew something, if we did something wrong, that we would get in trouble because of the I don't know, something happened. And then
so there was a flare thrown from
come from our section, but I know 100% we wouldn't do that because of
the previous
on a warning.
Right.
But so that sort of kicked off, and then they just celebrated, so bit of a kick in the gut.
Yeah, fair enough. You can answer this question if you want. I'm not sure whether it's a bit taboo for you. The rumour at the time was that Lucas had already agreed to go to nights before the game. And you can answer him, we can cut it out if you want.
Yeah, no.
And at the end of the game, he was like high-fiving them and shit like that in a car park. Did you know anything about that? Or
I didn't know the car park thing till now, but there was rumours that he did signing a pre-agreement. Yeah. But everyone signs pre-agreements. Yeah. Like, I signed on with Heidelberg, but then just told them I'd stay at Olympic, and they were happy. And I took Chris to training every day because we were both on the Gold Coast, and he said to me, like, he doesn't know what he's going to do next year. He said he was in talks with Knights, but he never said a pre-agreement or whatnot. And, if someone wants someone that bad.
G'day everyone, Tom Carroll here from Total Compression. As you can tell by the stiffness of your nipples, the weather is a little bit chilly outside. If you fancy to get a hold of any of the Total Compression products, please visit www.totalcompression.com.au and use the coupon code TheSubsBench to receive 10% off any Total Compression product. Cheers, guys.
No, I don't think he ever signed. He might have signed a pre-agreement, but pre-agreements doesn't mean nothing. You can back up on a pre-agreement. You can say no, you can, because I did it with Heidelberg, so the pre-agreements mean nothing, I don't think. But then he just I think he had a few personal problems, and that's why he ended up down in Melbourne.
Yeah. Is that where he's from, or is it just?
No, he's a Palm Beach boy, I think. Well, his family live at Palm Beach, but I'm not too sure if he was born there. Might have been born there.
But he'd been there before.
Yeah, he's been.
So he was kind of going.
Yeah, he was at Palmy and I think Gold Coast United before that.
Yeah, I think he even had a stint.
I'm sure he'd been down at Melbourne.
He was at the A-League side.
Was he at Wellington, or was that?
No, he had during the time at Olympic, he had I think it was 2 weeks or week trial at Western United.
Yeah.
But they just signed Brewster instead, so he just come back.
Yeah. Tough call that, like. Yeah. All right. And then this season, COVID has kind of took over, but you didn't get off to a great start. You were injured though, weren't you?
Yeah. So I had a bit of a bad injury, and it still niggles me now. But it wasn't a great start, but we did put in a performance against Penn Power that we thought, that's because when you're trying to replace Chris and Alex, they're two main losses, you know what I mean. And if you don't replace them,
it's difficult to replace them.
That's what I mean. So that's what we're missing. But we signed Daniel Leck, and he's a good player. And we signed Tyson at the back, who's a young hungry player. Because I think previous years we've gone for that older sort of experienced team, but this year Ben changed it up and was we'll go for young and hungrier. Yeah. And we didn't get off to a great start, but we did put in some performances where it was we can go somewhere with this. And
you played some of the top teams.
Yeah, we had
could have gone either way.
Power, just haven't played Lions, and But now COVID hit at a good time for me and a good time for not a good time, but to reevaluate everything. And now we're back finally. Yeah, 1 week away. Hopefully it stays away.
Hopefully the virus
close the borders.
Yeah, that's what
stays where it is. All right. Well, look, we'll finish off. I reckon you're going to pick the best team that you've played with, 1 through 11.
Best players.
Yeah.
Man, but look at some.
Oh, actually, no. Best team he's played against in the NPL.
NPL.
Because
because otherwise you'd have Matt Ryan.
We don't want Matt Ryan in his team. That's fucking obvious.
You'd be fucking half the Socceroos are in there.
So in NPL, so you've been in 2.5 years. The best 1 to 11 that you've played against. Who's the best keeper?
Best keeper, I'd have to go with Luke Borean. As much as he's annoying on the field, but he's just he's just a great keeper. To be fair,
he saves them 9 points a season. He's fucking quality, isn't he?
I'd let him do whatever he wants if the way he performs. Just a good keeper. Right back, I would go. I'd go Shelford at his fittest. Yeah. Because he just an animal 1v1, no one can get around him. Centre backs, I'd go Simic, and I'd have to go Matt Smith. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. Left back, that's a tough one. Brindle South or Schmidt.
Two very good fullbacks.
And then Shane, you can throw Shane in there. Because I don't really know many of the... Because I'm not from Queens, so I don't know many of the... not lower teams, but the teams at Redlands, and I don't really know many of those players. So. Yeah.
Well, if we're picking the best 11...
Picking the top 6, so
probably it's not picking that.
Yeah, that's true, let's be honest. I'd have to go with Schmidt, because
he is good. He is very good.
He's good left back. And then in the midfield,
Are you going with 3 in the middle?
Yeah, we'll go 3. I'd go with Kieran Sanders, Alex Smith, and I'd probably go Sean Carlos. Just the way, because Kieran and Alex are a bit older, so Sean can do what they're running.
And he'll do it.
Yeah,
he'll do the running.
He's a good workhorse. Yeah, he's a good player, and then good on the ball also. So. Front 3, I'd go Jez, Chris Lucas, and right side.
You could have Jez down the right.
Yeah, okay.
You got.
Who were the Lions front 3 the first year?
Marek, Makwase.
Makwase,
He's a good
Solizano played a little bit in that team. Henry Hall.
Yeah.
Gold Coast Knights.
Yeah, Gold Coast
Smith.
Actually, I'd go Panetta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I was at the Mariner City, he was at AS, and he was still just the way he is, just can beat anyone 1v1. So I'd say that's my 3. Top 11.
Decent team. And a coach. If you can't pick Ben.
Can't pick Ben.
He's going to try and angle him over the raw here, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
That's a tough one. Who do you go for?
You probably go for Mooney.
Just
a great pick.
Yeah, it's Gray or... I don't really know the Penn Power coach very well. I only know Warren and Gray. I'd probably just have to say Mooney because of what he's done with Lions and stuff, and how consistent they've been, and they just make a top performance every week for Lions. So.
And they just doesn't matter how they start a season, they always just claw you back. They did it to us, they did it to you. So
they're just a complete team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
there's not just at Olympic you got Jez, you can just turn anything into something. But at Lions, they're all just so together.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, it's just a unit, and it probably all starts.
It's funny, but because he's moulded that. I know Lions always get the best players, but you look at the 2 early years that Mooney was at the Lions, they were nowhere near as consistent as they are now. It
was still Rossi's playing group, and then Mooney had brought a few on top of that. But it took him 3 years to get busy his team.
Yeah, so he's obviously
because Rossi had a good team there.
Yeah, he did, but so he's obviously put his stamp on that team. And now they are very consistent.
They're solid.
Yeah, very solid.
There's not many weaknesses in that team, if any, really.
No,
so
good team.
Yeah. All right, been a good chat. I know you've got a game tonight. Sunday 7 o'clock. Cheers.
Thank you, Mitchie.
At Mitchie as well. Although, if they've got the pizza oven on, it's not a bad thing.
They give you free beers after the game too, I'm pretty sure.
You're setting them up there. Imagine if they don't now.
They'll have to now. Well, we won't be able to know because...
It's alright, I'll message Panisi and see.
He'll do it.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Yeah, you get a free beer tonight.
Yeah.
But get one of the pizzas.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Pizzas are really good.
I like it.
So, alright, we're also going to finish off with one other thing, if copyright allows it.
Yeah.
You're going to pick a song, and then that is going to play us out with the credits.
Baby Shark.
I would go Yellow by Coldplay.
Yellow by Coldplay. Alright, we'll get our producer Wilhelm on the case.
We might have to sing it ourselves just to avoid copyright.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll get Dusty on it.
Yeah, Dusty can do it. Yeah, he can do a Chris Martin impersonation. So
after he's ripping back that cigar last night, he'll be...
well, good luck with the season.
Thank you very much.
Apart from the return game against ourselves, in which I hope that you play well.
Thank you very much.
Don't get the points. And hopefully it's if you do get the grand final, it's third time lucky.
Yeah.
They usually come in threes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
There you go.
Anyway, thanks for having me.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.